Hi there. How you guys doing? Welcome. In a previous life, I was a culinary instructor at a fairly good-sized college. And as we went through our day, occasionally I had to have something called a moment of honesty. And in that moment of honesty, I would pull a student aside, and we'd just talk a little bit about what they were doing and what they were up to. I want to try that today with you guys. I want you to reach inside, and we're all friends here today. We've all got to meet each other all day long, talk to people, networking. I want you to reach deep inside and think about this question, and I want to see a show of hands. How many of you thought the official drink of North Carolina was cheer wine? I am not wrong. All right. I am Chef John LaTour. I am the chef instructor and program director for Healthy Families, Healthy Futures, or eathealthync.org. Next one, Andrew. Who we are. We are a nonprofit based out of Brunswick County. Anybody from Brunswick County here? Oh, me. Brunswick County, but we work all over the state of North Carolina. I have several partners out here in the class, out in the audience today. We'll talk about those. We work closely with the community, the low and middle income communities around the state to help them plan, shop, cook, and eat healthier meals. A lot of our participants are on benefits, and we try to help them maximize their benefits and eat in a very mindful way. We started this program, which is actually a derivative of a program that started about 2012 in Charlotte through the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Health Department, and it bounced around a little bit. It landed at Smart Start of Mecklenburg County, focusing on the child care space, and then transferred over to Central Piedmont Community College, where I came on board, ran the program for 5 years, and then suddenly COVID hit, and we were all kind of standing around looking at each other. I left the college at that point, moved to Brunswick County, and restarted this program from scratch there. To date, from the fourth quarter of 2020, we have done about 200 hours of hands-on cooking, videos, demonstration cooking, all kinds of nutritional aspects of good, healthy cooking. Thank you. And our mission is fairly simple. We just promote healthy families, one nutritious meal at a time. That's all we ask for. Let's do it one at a time, and we'll get there. Go ahead. So these are some of the topics we cover. Not only do we cover cooking, but we also cover meal planning and shopping. We talk about reading labels. We talk about caregivers as nutritional role models. Think about that one. You can't get little Sam to eat his broccoli if you're sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. And it does happen. Next slide. These are some of our partners. I don't really want to go into all of these because they are all here, but I do want to, we'll see some of the other slides. We've worked in the child care space. We've worked in the migrant space. We've worked in schools. And we try to partner with, other organizations because basically I'm an army of one. And, we try to partner up and teach our classes anywhere. We've cooked on the side of roads. We've cooked at farmers markets. We've cooked at schools and child care centers and so on. Go ahead. I want to give a big shout out to Smart Start of Wake County. Some of them are here today. They have been amazing partners since 2020, basically. And I probably wouldn't even be here today if it weren't for their support. So we started out doing, if you look at the top left-hand corner there, that's my kitchen at my house. And we started doing a lot of these classes on Zoom, where I would just stand there and make animals. And we do some cooking. And then eventually we were able to do some in-person stuff. And we covered things like, quick sautés. We covered, meals that you can do in one pot or you can do in a sheet pan. And we finally got to go to the Post Center in Raleigh and do some hands-on cooking with those folks. And I think we're going back sometime really soon. Go ahead. We also do a lot of relationship building and fostering. This is an organization called BOND, which is our Building Our Nation's Dads. They reached out to me actually from a class that I did with Wake County, and wanted to work with young children and their non-custodial fathers to strengthen those relationships. And one of the things that we always talk about is strengthening relationships through food. You all remember going to Grandma's house, sitting around the table, talking about everybody, aunties, uncles, talking about stuff. Well, that's kind of the same deal. So we did that with them up in Raleigh. We're also going back this summer again and do another session with them. But they loved it. The kids they made great food. We tore up a kitchen, but that's okay. We cleaned it all up. But they had a great time, and I think it really did strengthen some relationships. I really do. Go ahead. So we also work with young children, middle school children, high school kids. We're trying to encourage them to understand how to cook for themselves and how to eat healthy. A lot of what you all do, you're providing the healthy meals for them, or you're providing meals for them. But at some point, they've got to kind of go out on their own and cook some of those meals for themselves. So we partnered with the 4-H of Brunswick County and the FNEB. I think there's some FNEB people here, also of Brunswick County. And we did, in that far right corner, we went out to a low-income development and cooked with those kids. Those are all middle schoolers, about 15 middle schoolers in the heat of the summer, without any running water or without any electricity. Yeah, that was great. We had a great time with them, though. And then the rest of those kids, I'm starting a 4-H club, Young Chefs Club. I really want to start fostering young people to think about culinary as a career. I know they do that some in schools, but not every school. And yeah, please. Absolutely. We don't have enough good chefs out there, and they're leaving the industry a whole lot faster than they're coming on board. So we're really trying hard to get them thinking in those terms. They may want to take food service or culinary as a career. Go ahead, Dan. This is a program that I truly do love. We partnered with Brunswick County Schools. This was the Migrant Education Program. We did this was kind of like a summer camp. Some of these kids got on the bus at about 6 o'clock in the morning and rode 2 hours to get to us, 2 or 3 hours to get to us in Bolivia. Bolivia, North Carolina, by the way. So some of these, we had language issues, but we overcome them. We talked a lot about healthy eating. One of the things that we know, and I'm not a podium person, by the way. A lot of things that we know in the migrant community is that a lot of them lived previously in very rural areas, and they grew a lot of their own food. And they cooked that food, and they ate it, and it was good, and they worked hard in the fields to grow that food. They come to the U.S., and things change drastically for them, and it changes their diet quite a bit. And so we see more childhood obesity, more childhood health problems that are diet-related somewhat in the migrant community. So we really worked hard with these folks. These kids were just great. They learned. They were like sponges. They spent a lot of time just listening to what we had to say. And we had an interpreter with us the whole time, but most of them had a really decent grasp of English, and we just worked through it, and they were great. Okay. Teachers and cooks. We also work with, and we started out in the child care space, but we also kind of have branched out a little bit. These are teachers and child care center cooks in that space in New Hanover County. And we worked with New Hanover County Smart Start, the North Carolina Cooperative Extension, which has been phenomenal down east in New Hanover. And we talked about creating safe eating environments for young children and our choosy eaters. I used to call them picky eaters. I got my hand slapped for calling them picky. I don't know what that was all about. But now we have to call them choosy eaters. So, and we made great food. That's one of the things that we do. We don't do just tastings. We take a recipe, we cook the whole thing, and then we eat. And again, it goes back to the sense of being in one with your tribe and talking about the challenges that you have. Why are they challenges? And let's figure out what we can do to solve those challenges. Okay, cool. Okay, this is my very favorite slide, and I have got a bad allergy going on right now. We worked in Charlotte for 5 years. All kinds of classes, you name it, we probably covered it. This past November, I wanted to go back to Charlotte and do a class. And I couldn't find a sponsor because we usually partner with somebody, so we just bit the bullet and just did it. We opened the registration for this class on a Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. We had to shut it down on Thursday. I have a mail monkey list, MailChimp list, and and they closed it all down. We closed it all down. We were totally full. We had 15 people. That was all I could handle. And then, you know, December, January came around, and they all showed up. And some of these folks I hadn't seen in 2 years, and they all came. Big shout out to Deidre Mallow, who's on this slide. She is the culinary instructor for Independence High School. And the young lady in the group slide, who's very tall in the back, that's Tanya Karin. Tanya was a student of mine in CPCC, and she is now a food blogger, and she just published her very first cookbook. This is all my contact information. I'm sitting over here. Please, if you want to talk more about it, I'm over there. I've got cards. I've got information on their program. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.